the corner is just expanding and exploding to all different directions. Now it's guided by this gentle rounding slope, so it can go inside, and the air can instead. So that's one thing, that there's like a much gentler transition. So we also have a horn on the inside, plus because we have this here now on both sides, what happens is that when your driver is working, then it creates these sound pressure waves that go up and down, and then the problem is when you have a box. So like this type of scenario, you have a box, and then you have a certain frequency sound wave just overly amplified and dominating and exciting resonances that you don't want. So basically, if you have sound waves that the pressure wave is as long as the height of your cabinet, or even if it's longer, it's all of those are going to excite your cabinet's resonance that pertains to its full height. And we want to get rid of that, because that gives us box sound. Of course, one way was to add dampening material, but now I don't want to do that, because when you add dampening material, it's not just you cause a time delay, but the biggest problem is that you lose efficiency. You lose driver sensitivity, because part of your energy that the loudspeaker generates as the back pressure, instead of being turned into acoustic energy, it's going to be wasted as heat. So with all of my speaker designs, my top priority is to maximize efficiency, because that's what I noticed, that if you can get a few more dB out in the efficiency of the loudspeaker, it's going to be dramatically better experience than choking it out and taking away those dBs. So basically, if you can add like a plus 3 dB efficiency to your loudspeaker, it is just the equivalent of doubling the power of your amplifier, or doubling the headroom of your amplifier. Actually, it translates to an even bigger advantage than doubling the headroom of your amp, more like quadrupling the headroom of your amplifier. That's what it gives you, really. So basically what's happening here is that inside we have these pressure fluctuations, and by having these ports here and these little things, so now what these also do is that they also force the sound waves, instead of just creating a uniform standing wave inside the height of the loudspeaker, you will have one region here. You see that it's hollowed out, it's more circular, more round, so it's kind of like an upper body here and the lower body here. So you have two chambers inside the cabinet. We have divided the cabinet into two chambers, and they have different behaviors, different resonance modes, different properties, and we no more have singular resonances dominating our cabinet, or that can take over the cabinet. And this is actually what music instruments do. And I'm not saying that now it sounds like a violin or it sounds like a guitar and it won't make a good piano sound or anything like that. Nothing at all like that. However, when you look at a violin or a guitar, then you notice that they have this type of build where you have a smaller chamber and connected to a larger chamber. On the violin it's more dramatic than on a guitar. And you can also notice that the violin has a louder output than a guitar as well. So it's a much louder instrument than the guitar. And with the violin or a guitar, you can test that theory, what the side walls do to the sound, is that when you listen to audiophiles, they are talking about the speaker resonance is being really bad. They are talking about that thick cabinet walls resonating and giving crap sound with a lot of time delay. That's because the material is too thick, too heavy. And when you look at things like a bell, when you look at a bigger bell, when it's rung, it rings way longer than a tiny bell, and that's because the material is much thicker, much heavier, and stores energy for way longer. Same thing happens with the violin, guitar, or any music instrument, and loudspeaker as well, is that when you hear a crappy violin, then you hear a smeared sound, and it's not loud. It's kind of like an anemic and smeared and kind of nyeh sound, and that's because that poor quality violin has thicker cabinet, and probably it's not hollowed out properly. It's just something very simple, and then when you are going higher quality with the violin, you are thinning out the walls more, making them stronger, and by using higher quality wood, then your violin becomes much cleaner sounding. And the same thing is happening here. Thinning out the walls, it will have cleaner sound. And why? Because wood, high quality wood, has a capability to transmit sound much faster than the speed of sound. And basically, when your driver is moving and creating these pressure waves, the sound pressures, they travel at a certain speed, and when they hit your cabinet, they speed up tremendously. So basically, the sound will go through the cabinet walls faster compared to having an open baffle here and the sound wave exiting from the back of the driver. So basically, when you have these thinned out walls, they really act as drum skins, and they transmit sound out very, very fast, and you can notice that when you do this hollowing, it gives tremendous efficiency boost to the low frequencies, and because it transmits the sound very fast, it's not going to store the energy inside the wall, it's going to transmit it to the air, and that's why the hollowing is so critical for that. And when you do the hollowing, then the more you hollow, the more critical it becomes that your wood is of high quality, because when it's high quality, it means that it can transmit a wide range of frequencies to the air with the same efficiency. If it's low quality, it means that it's not going to be able to transmit a wide frequency range. It's going to be just a very narrow frequency range, and it's going to shift the frequency. Whatever is happening here, the same will go out here, and it will add the same note, the same crappy broken guitar sound, or crappy broken violin sound, or a broken student cello sound, or any instrument you pick. Or you can put in like a broken speaker sound, like a poor quality loudspeaker cabinet as well. Same thing as poor quality music instrument. So I really hope that this helps everyone to take your LaGrande to the next level. And there's one more thing that I haven't said. Of course, every corner, all of the corners on the outside, you router them, you bevel them. There are no straight edges, no straight corners. Everything on the outside of the cabinet, round them down. Everything, round them down. No straight edges, absolute no. That's loudspeaker building 101. Take away the edges. In the basic version, I didn't emphasize that too much because I did not want to freak out everyone. It's a lot of extra work to get rid of the corners. But now that you have your speakers and now you have the experience that it works for you, now you can take the extra effort to just sand down the corners or router them down if you have router, or maybe you can even plane or file them down. It's really up to you. It doesn't really matter how you do it, just do it. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for listening, enjoy your loudspeakers, bye bye.